This is the Frat House Sports Show. And now, for this week's completely different and often humorous take on everything sports, here are Frat House Mike, Uncle Mark, and Sidekick.
Yep, we're coming right back at you. Can you believe it? My gosh, it's the 4th of July already. First one, however, from Frat House 2, right here. It's our, Happy Birthday America celebration. We got Sidekick right there. Uncle Mark a little bit under the weather this evening, so he's not, but we've got the voice of God with us over on a separate mic who will be jumping in every once in a while and scaring the hell out of everybody. Yes, indeed he will be. But it's the 4th of July. You got any plans?
I don't know yet.
Don't know?
I have 2 bags of mortar fireworks that I can't wait to light off. I may go to New York. There was some talk about going to New York City, so we'll see. I just know that I bought these fireworks several months ago, and I can't wait to light these.
We won't ask you where you got them from. I'm sure they're contraband.
No, we've gone by. I think I showed you when we were on our trip.
Oh, heading west?
Yeah, when we come back out east. When we came back out east, they were closed when we went through, but there was
yes.
fireworks warehouse.
Yes. Is that on the PA side?
No, it's on the Indiana,
it's just
Ohio.
on the other side.
It's
correct.
on the Indiana, Ohio border.
Okay, yep. All right. Well, listen, make no mistake, though, we're going to have a lot of USA chat. I think there's going to be a lot of USA talk.
Oh, yeah.
On this particular show. Yeah, you might. And we'll get into all that, but we want to get to our top stories. And the first one, a little bit of an odd one, if you ask me. Story that broke yesterday regarding Alex Rodriguez and PED usage that came to light. Apparently, Major League Baseball sanctioned, in fact, yes, officially sanctioned A-Rod's use of testosterone in 2007. Now, that just happened to be, ironically, that was a year that A-Rod, won the AL MVP. Anybody scratching their head yet? This was all apparently part of a therapeutic use exemption. I think you alluded to it a little bit in one of the other sports, UFC.
In MMA, they had it. Well, they had it.
Right.
And then Nevada, that's when we had our discussion about Shale Soda.
You were referring to it just a couple of weeks ago, exactly.
Who, by the way, this week came up, failed another.
Right, he came up a little hot. Right, yep. I noticed that.
Got let go by Fox Sports now.
Well, apparently, this is referred to in Major League Baseball as a TUE. This was requested by Rodriguez. Requests of testosterone use extremely rare in Major League Baseball because those that are making the decision view this as a red flag, knowing that, quote unquote, and this was a quote directly from USA Today just yesterday, quote, a young male, healthy young male, the most likely cause of low testosterone requiring this type of therapy would be prior steroid abuse. So one would have thought that perhaps Alex Rodriguez is coming in 2007. He's requesting this exemption. Oh, guys, can I please have, can I get on this for a year? You would have thought that the red flags would have gone up and they're going, duh. How come you're only asking for it for 1 year?
Not to mention, this was after he'd previously gotten caught.
Exactly. Now, Major League Baseball yesterday released a 3-paragraph statement regarding this issue, which, did you read it? I hope you did. I hope you read it when I sent it over, because I read through it very, very carefully again this morning. It basically does nothing more than reiterates exactly what their policy is. It doesn't make anything specific about this particular case at all. All it does is simply reiterates what their policy is with regard to therapeutic use exemptions.
It's the good old Tom Sawyer whitewash. That's what it is.
It was incredible. I couldn't believe. I mean, why would you even release a 3-page statement or a 3-paragraph statement for this? They went so far in that particular statement as to hide behind the whole confidentiality-driven issues. Quote, the process is confidential. confidentially administered by the IPA, which is a separate organization, a separate arm of this whole Major League Baseball. And the MLB and MLBPA are not even made aware of which players applied for TUEs, which I completely discount. That's a freaking lie right there, and I can tell you why I know this. The information that came up about Rodriguez asking for this exemption in 2007, in fact, came from documents from Major League Baseball that were used, or were going to be used, by Alex Rodriguez in his grievance hearing against his suspension. So, Major League Baseball outright freaking lied in this statement. It is the most outrageous thing, and mates, it leads you to sit there and go, what the hell is going on? You know, I have heard for the longest time that Major League Baseball has been covering over and hiding. You know, we heard about it way back, you know, with the McGuire and the Sammy Sosa days and all the others, the Rafael Palmeiros and all the others that were brought up on it.
But they were enjoying the heyday of baseball.
Well, you gotta wonder, I mean, has this whole Aaron thing really been nothing more than orchestrated by Major League Baseball? I mean, what in the world is going on here? You got these two that appear to be going at it head to head, and yet at the same time there appears to be some sort of collusion going on. You know, I bring the story up and I'm going to ask the question, is it a story or isn't it a story? And I frankly think it's a story only from the standpoint of somebody needs to really do a little bit of investigative reporting on this one, because something doesn't look right. Yes? No? Huh?
No, I agree. It doesn't look right. I mean, to be honest, I kind of just wish the story would go away.
Well, sure.
But I think the longer this drags out,
the more you might hear this kind of thing.
And the more damage I think it's going to do to the MLB.
Good point.
No, I don't know if they're fighting each other so much. It certainly looks like Bud Selig there's giving him instruction on where the best point to stick the needle is.
Yeah, how to inject.
This is how Jose told me to do it.
Oh. All right. Well, all right, let's proceed.
I know how to shoot.
Let's proceed. No, really, he doesn't have an email either, but yeah, all right. All right, let's proceed with our red, white, and blue segment for the evening, and that is to talk a little World Cup. The USA, with a record of 1-1-1, the U.S. men's national team became one of the 16 teams to make it into the World Cup knockout round, where they had to meet up against Belgium this past Tuesday. And Sidekick, I'm going to be completely blunt with you. It was without a doubt one of the most entertaining and exciting sports events I have witnessed all year long.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
No, I'm not. Absolutely not.
He was on the edge of his seat watching the
game.
It
was incredible. A lot of
mocking
tension.
me, aren't you?
And believe it or not, even a little bit, I can't believe I'm even saying this, believe it or not, there was even a little end-to-end action. Well, no, that didn't sound right now, did it?
Oh,
but no, but seriously, I mean, they were flying that ball up and down that field. I couldn't believe it, how things were going, particularly in the extra time.
Yeah.
Now, two guys that came out of that, in my opinion, and became kind of household names were goalkeeper, of course, Tim Howard. Now, you saw the match, yes?
The Secretary of Defense.
My goodness. This guy,
16 saves.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I had read that is historically a record for a World Cup match. No goalkeeper, or is it no U.S. goalkeeper? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure the exact wording on the record.
16.
But 16 saves.
What this guy did, I'm telling you, there were so many times that I thought the match was over, and this guy was coming up strong.
Yeah.
Getting the angles down. And you know, when you take a look at soccer and you watch it, and you think to yourself, oh, come on. The goaltender, there's no way. I mean, you almost feel bad at times for the goaltender. I mean, he's hung up to dry. You got this enormous freaking net. You got all this area for the striker to shoot one through, and bam. And yet, so many times we see it go over the net, or it gets blocked, or
blocked.
Yeah. But my goodness, this guy was
And then you
absolutely
get the free kicks from the
incredible.
corner, and you're on the edge of your seat going,
and
oh
you know
God,
something?
oh God, because everybody's grouped up there, and you're waiting for that header.
Exactly.
You know, that's why I'm saying, people are like, oh, soccer's so boring. Yes, there are a fair amount of matches, soccer matches that are boring, or they're blowouts, or whatever they are. And then there's those matches like this one, where you're on the edge of your seat, even though it came down to 2-1. Nobody scored in regulation time, which I gotta give my hats off to the U.S. team for holding Belgium to no goals up through regulation, and then then you get into extra time and they score and you're like, oh man, you feel all let down, but you're like, they're only one down, we can get an equalizer, we can tie it, and then they scored the second one, you're like, oh, it's over, and you have all that, heartache, excuse me. And then the U.S. comes back and they get one, you're like, right back into it. You're, man, one goal, we can equalize it. We can go to a shootout. Oh, come on, just get the one goal, and you keep,
I know, and I got to tell you, I was hoping the thing was going to come down to penalty kicks. That's where I was hoping it was going to come down to, or I guess the shootout, as you're referencing. But boy, oh boy, even that goal by Green, they bring the young kid in.
Yep.
And Green comes in.
What a
and
substitution.
Oh my goodness!
What
I mean, that was and the kid was cold, for God's sake. I mean, just absolutely incredible match. The other who did much for his reputation, in my opinion, and career, I really think, was the men's national team coach, or do we refer to him as manager? Are they referred to as manager? Or aren't they managers in MLS?
Yeah, coach manager.
Okay.
It's interchangeable.
Well, it's Jurgen Klinsmann, all right, who prior to the tournament was being criticized, and I must be honest, I was one of them right here on this very show a number of weeks ago.
Yeah, you called him out.
I did, for making derogatory statements about his own team. This guy gained the respect of an incredible number of people right here in this country, looking at him and going, wow, the guy might just be the real deal. At the same time, I'm gonna put my rose-colored glasses away. I'm gonna self-temper myself for a moment on all my enthusiasm about this. Sidekick, the U.S. won exactly one game. They won 1 in 4. And we're sitting around talking about them like as if they came in second place for the Super Bowl. I mean, seriously?
But that's the thing. See, and that's the conversation, that's the theme of the conversation that we've been having over the past several weeks.
Sure.
When we've been talking about World Cup, is how soccer is second class. It doesn't compare to any of the other three. This is the first time in U.S. soccer history that we've gotten out of.
No, we did it 4 years ago.
Right, but this is the second time. This is the first time in history we did it back to back.
Yes.
That we got out of the first round.
Oh wow. Oh wait a minute.
Yeah, but in all the years of the World Cup that the U.S. has been in, this is the first time that we've done that.
We've been in it. I think I heard dating back to like 1930s or something.
Exactly. So and that's what kind of the hope is hey, we're turning the corner. You look at that kid Green.
Yes.
He's gonna have a great time. He's gonna be on the next team.
Yes, he will. He's only 18 years old.
And everybody's already looking forward to the next World Cup with the young guys that we're playing this time that will be that much more mature for the next one.
Is this guy sticking around?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, this guy could be the face of the team.
Absolutely.
I mean, really. I mean, you could talk about all the players you want, but this guy, and that's what I found rather interesting about watching World Cup, is that invariably, well, at least with the USA side, the manager, the coach, became kind of the face of the team. Because all those other guys can be just pulled out of there, and you could just like you do in the Olympics, and suddenly you don't have anybody that really is the spokesman.
Right.
If this guy continues to be the face of the team, then you might have something. But let's get into a little bit, because that kind of leads me into the next topic, and that's there's been so much talk and hype about all of this. And the pending launch of what I call soccer taking over America concept. We talked about it a lot right here, as you pointed out in the past few weeks. And of course, I'm on record. I'm on the balderdash side of the whole darn thing. The problem, in my opinion, with the World Cup, as I see it right now, we're riding right now. Everybody seems to be riding this crest of enthusiasm, what have you, but it only comes around every 4 years.
Right. Yep. Like the Olympics.
Right?
Yep.
Now, the problem is, we're Americans, for God's sake. And what happens is, this leaves our imagination. This leaves our imagination. This leaves our mind for 30 freaking seconds. And guess what? It's yesterday's news. So nobody's going to even be talking about World Cup in about 2 or 3 days from now. MLS is what we're left with. Can this keep the momentum going?
Yeah, I mean, we do see some spikes, and I did, was looking, got some information from Forbes. The number of Americans who watched, attended, or listened to a major soccer match has expanded by 32% since the last World Cup.
Okay.
All right.
I'd like to know their definition of major, but go ahead.
Major would be MLS, EPL.
Okay.
The European leagues.
Okay.
Not like the your little local.
No, I got you. Okay, but it does include MLS. Go ahead.
Yes. In 2010, there was 11 networks that aired approximately 2,600 matches. In 2013, there was 21 networks that aired roughly almost 3,900 matches. So, and then MLS viewership since 2009 is up 24%.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd like to see sustainability on that. In other words, I mean, I don't know how they're engaging that viewership as well. Attendance, MLS attendance, we talked about it. I think you even brought it up, that in fact, it's rivaling in some places, in some cases, NBA.
And NHL in some markets.
17 to 18,000 is what MLS averages. 17 to 18,000. That is, you take all of them together and aggregate it.
The Union here that we pictured.
Yeah.
This stadium holds 18,500, and they average 18,000.
Right, and the Union apparently has done quite well. I mean, they're sustainable.
I don't know if they're necessarily sustainable.
Well,
they've had some financial issues, but they're a startup. They've only been in the league 5 years, so they're still trying to.
But make no mistake, this stadium was built for them.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, for God's sake, I mean, they're not going anywhere to another stadium. Now the problem is, if they expand, they can't hold anything more in this stadium.
I think there was the design, the way it was set up. There was some designs where if they're consistently selling out, there's ways to expand the stadium.
Okay.
It was built into the design.
Now you go take a look at Seattle, and you got the Sounders out there.
Yes.
And there's an anomaly. 37 to 38,000 on average. What in the hell is going on in Seattle? What water are they drinking?
Hey, apparently they like soccer out in Seattle.
Look at this. They are.
Well, they play in the same stadium as the Seahawks do.
Exactly. And look at this. You are up to second level, and yet when you again, as kind of a comparison, you got Chivas USA. Look at this mess. This looks like an LFL game. I mean, seriously. I mean, this is insanity. There is no one there. So you got to wonder whether, in fact, there really is true sustainability to all of this, and where it's. I've heard that. Hey, if MLS can put out a product like the European Premier League, if they can put a product out like that, which is not what we're seeing yet,
right?
Would they be there?
It's getting there. And what actually is going to help that is a lot of the European players are now thinking about coming to the U.S.
No, I have heard that. Right.
and starting to play for the U.S. teams. I mean, look how huge it was to have David Beckham.
There were MLS players on other national teams.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But to go to the American concept, here's what I heard, and everybody, I mean, you know, and a lot of people around here at the Frat House know. I listen to sports talk radio right here in this area constantly. And here's what you hear. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care what market you were in, you probably would have heard something rather similar. And that is Americans saying things like, well, that is after Tuesday, well, now that the World Cup is over. That's so American when you think about it. As soon as we're out, we're done.
Right.
We're not watching it. And yet, in a moment, you and I are going to talk about where the bracket is going.
And that's the quote-unquote bandwagon, folks. I'm still going to watch, I like Germany. See, World Cup's a little interesting because you have the national pride, like the Olympics. Hey, we've got the U.S. But then there's a segment of the population who have their heritage. Mm-hmm. Okay, I've got friends that are they're Greek and they're all on there. Oh, Greece is out now. I've got friends. I'm rooting for the German national team now. Mm-hmm. So there's other when the U.S. goes out, you're looking at your heritage team. A lot of people have multiple teams that they follow in the World Cup.
I'm an Irish American. The U.S. swim team loses in the Olympics. I'm not necessarily jumping over and going, okay, what's the Irish swim team doing?
Well, and in the Olympics, normally you don't have two affiliations. I don't know why in soccer it's that way.
Exactly. I mean,
but it's it'd be interesting to find out if somebody did a study to find out why people are so, when it comes to soccer, it's you have your I live in the U.S. but I'm German background, so I root for the Germans as well.
It's very weird. It's very weird in that respect. And let me take that one step further, and this is where I'm going to end it up with. I'm going to end it up right here. I've heard a lot of things this week talked about with how we can, here in this country, Americanize soccer more to get more people interested. All right? Rule changes, making it a faster game, making things a little easier to understand. Instead of doing the count up clock, doing the count down clock. All these little nuanced sorts of things. And it just struck me as I'm hearing it, and this is where I'm going to stick up for soccer or football. I'm going to stick up for it this way. Why the hell should we be Americanizing it? It was a sport that's not ours, for God's sake.
Exactly.
And it's international, and it was around probably before we were even here as a nation. Why the hell should we be Americanizing it just to make it for ourselves? And frankly, I find that to be very, very almost disrespectful of the game and the sport itself.
But that's stereotypical American.
But then I wonder, isn't that what MLS was supposed to do? Wasn't MLS supposed to kind of Americanize the sport to begin with, to draw that American population in?
I don't know if I'd call it Americanize the game. Because the rules are the rules. I mean, sure, they change a little bit here and there. There's little nuances in the rules and that. But I think what the MLS was supposed to do was, up prior to the MLS, the only thing we could do is watch the Premier League,
right,
or the Bundesliga, or all these other international leagues. Okay, and as part of the whole thing with us getting the World Cup in '94, they said, hey, we'll give you the World Cup. You need to come up with a league.
To show a national presence.
To use the boost from the World Cup, mm-hmm, form a league, and then have your own league in America.
Right.
And that's what they've done, so that you can now have, you're just not like jumping on the Manchester United or the Liverpool bandwagon. You've got your team, you've got the Union, you've got the Sounders, you've got the Red Bulls, you've got the Revolution, you got Chivas or whatever. You've got all these different teams. So now, sure, you can still be a Man United fan or whatever, Man City, whoever. But you can also be like, hey, I can go this weekend and I can go catch the Union play. Mm-hmm. And I had a blast. This year I'm not a season ticket holder. but for the past 2 seasons I was, and it was a blast. We went down, I had a propane grill, we tailgated, we did just like you do any other American sport, and it was a blast. We stood and we cheered and got drunk and all that good stuff you do at any other game. Except like at the Union, we all the sons of Ben stand in have one section.
Right.
We all stand there and we chant for the whole thing. You hear it in all these games, all these people chanting and getting behind their team, and you've got all these special
One
chants.
of the things though that's been brought up is America can that, because that is so European, and God, that's not us. And that's one of the complaints that I've actually heard, is that's not the way we do things. Change this sport so that we're not imitating. And see, that's where I'm wondering whether soccer really can catch on in this country, because it's not being ours. And I said this, I think, almost from week one. If it's not our sport, we ain't buying it.
Well, but here now, okay. Let me throw a couple more numbers at you.
Go ahead, real quick.
People that watch or go to MLS games. In 2009, okay, well, they broke it down by demographic. Okay, in 2009 you had 6,000 Asians watch or go to MLS games. In 2013 you had 11,000.
Okay.
Okay. In 2009 you had 13,000 African Americans. In 2013 you had 15,000.
Okay.
So kind of it went up a little bit, marginal. Hispanics was 49,000. They went up to 57,000. But among white non-Hispanics, the viewership was 71,000, and it's gone to 88,000.
The biggest aggregate jump.
Biggest jump. So they've gone from a total of 140,000 in 2009 to a grand total of 174,000
Yep.
in 2013.
Yep.
So it is coming around. It's, all the doomsayers out there saying, oh, it's going to overtake football. It's not going to overtake football.
No.
I always thought footballs were brown with a point on each end, so I don't get this game.
Well, one's got to wonder, does it ultimately take over baseball?
I think it will. If baseball keeps screwing around the way it is, it could.
I know.
I think it will. I think it'll easily take over the NBA, and possibly the NHL.
You're going to get some hate mail on that one, because there are people out there that'll say, well, wait a minute, the NBA is the number 3 sport in the country, and you've got it already jumping over
the
NHL.
NBA without the NHL? It's got to do both.
Yeah. Right.
NHL
have to take over the NHL.
Well, I thought the NHL was higher.
But I'm thinking baseball appears to be really more and more and more. And in fact, I read a great column just the other day from a columnist. I would love to remember his name, but made the comment saying through the entire 2 weeks of the World Cup and the U.S. involved in it, he had a very, very uneasy feeling about the future of Major League Baseball, as it appears to be rather fragile. Interesting. All right, but before we leave World Cup, let's get into where we stand right now, because, hey, unlike all those other Americans out there that say, well, now that it's over, it's not over. Folks, we still got 8 teams.
I don't do that!
Talk to us.
All right, so we just had the round of 16. We had Mexico ousted, Greece ousted, Switzerland, the U.S., Chile, Uruguay, Nigeria, and Algeria ousted.
Yep.
And some of those were exciting, where they went to the penalty kicks.
Yep.
Most of these matches were not blowaways.
No,
they were all very
you're
competitive.
absolutely right about that. But tell me a soccer match that doesn't usually seem like it's only one goal. But go ahead. Although I will say this. Apparently, one of the stats that I did here is that this World Cup is out to set a record for the most goals ever in any World Cup so far on record.
Oh, there you go.
Believe it or not. So the offense is up. But go ahead.
Yeah. So we're now in the quarterfinals. Just as a side note, we've got a couple of European teams in here. No European team has ever won the World Cup in South America.
Okay.
Which, you've got Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica,
Right.
Argentina.
Right. 4 out of 8 that are remaining
Okay.
are South American.
Yep.
Right.
So
odds
and
on-
obviously Brazil is favored.
Right.
Yeah, they're heavily favored to win. the whole
Odds
thing.
on would say that a South American team should absolutely, positively, probably be in the final
Right.
and may actually win it all.
Yeah.
You're standing firm, I would think, probably with Germany. That's who you've been saying now for the past week or so.
Yeah.
Yes?
I stick with Germany.
Is that a homer?
If there's any European country going to advance, it's going to be Germany.
Okay.
So the matchups are set for tomorrow. We've got 2 tomorrow and then 2 on Saturday.
Right.
Tomorrow, leading off, we have we have France versus Germany.
Right there.
Germany is narrowly favored in this matchup. Then we've got Brazil and Colombia, with Brazil expected to easily beat Chile
Okay.
and move on.
Colombia, yeah.
And then on Saturday, we've got Netherlands versus Costa Rica. Costa Rica are the Cinderellas of the World Cup.
Yes.
Right now, Netherlands is favored at a negative 225 versus Costa Rica at a plus 650. But I'm telling you, watch Costa Rica.
Okay.
Just saying, they're the darlings of this cup. So, and they are not expected
My
to.
department, isn't it? Normally
Yeah.
the degenerative gambling part of it is usually my department. Go ahead.
So,
I haven't got a brain.
you know, they weren't expected to even get out of the first round.
Yep.
So, you know, they're kind of living on borrowed time. So keep an eye on Costa Rica.
Got it.
And then finally we have Argentina versus Belgium, with Argentina favored. And by next week at this time,
Okay, go ahead.
we will have a World Cup winner.
Okay. You're projecting 3 out of 4 winners being South American countries. That the only European
Well, sure,
country.
because you got Brazil coming through.
Yeah, you got. You're
You've-
right. You're saying Costa Rica.
Netherlands is favored, but I might put
You
my
got
money on Costa
Argentina
Rica.
down here. The only one you got coming out from Europe is Germany.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right.
So, and here's going to be the game. If Germany advances and Brazil advances, that game is going to be brutal.
Okay. All right. Well, there's
That's gonna be-
you're gonna get the update right here next week from
Yep.
Sidekick, and we're gonna see whether he's right on the Costa Rica thing, and we're gonna find out whether, how he does in his Germany bracket down there. All right. All right. Let's get over to talk about some American sports. How about that? July 4th here, and that means that we're 2 weeks away from the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Does anybody really care? I don't know. We were just talking about it.
No, World Cup's on.
And we roll into our MLB segment brought to you by our good friends, Jim and Carl over at CLW83. Thanks very much, guys. And Jim, I'm sounding a lot better, so hopefully I'm going to be there with you next weekend to be there for your program. Touch 'em all. You can catch that over on CLW83. Hey, you like that segue? Boom, that's got that right in there. All right. We just
That's what she said.
Yeah, never mind. We just ran through the midpoint of the
It's time
season.
again for Frat House Mike's Screwball Stories.
There you go. That means we only have a half season left of Screwy Stories. What do you say we kick it off with the Houston Astros? They appeared in public the other day with a tremendously red face, following reports that their internal communications network had been hacked by an outsider and released the Deadspin for public reading. Now, I got just one question. Why would anyone even be interested in the internal communications of who the Astros may be trading? I don't know who would be interested in that, but apparently some people were, enough so much that they were hacked. The Astros and other teams, they were communicating with, like the Marlins, were actually embarrassed more so by the names that came up. Names like Giancarlo Stanton, who, yes, apparently at one point the Marlins were considering trading over to Houston, and Ichiro Suzuki, who the Yankees apparently were discussing trading. This really became more of a situation where it was more of a red face for, I think, really more the other teams. because you're actually getting names. The comments and notes were simply listed in a diary or blog type format. Honestly, now look, you're in the IT industry. I do not understand, why would teams feel compelled that they had to report every stinking communication that you would have had on any stupid little whimsical inquiry? It doesn't make any freaking sense to me.
Well, no,
I mean, there's no requirement by Major League Baseball that they have to do this, I don't think.
No, but you might want to track it to, so you remember, okay, so-and-so was interested in so-and-so, and so-and-so was interested in so-and-so, and back and forth, and...
Well, there you have it. They kind of looked pretty foolish. I actually think, like I said, I think it was less of a red face on them and more on the teams that were actually talking to the Astros. Many of us here in the Philadelphia region frequently are shaking our head and say to ourselves, well, it wasn't all that long ago that the Phils were at the top of the league. And, well, let's get it straight. It really wasn't. It was only 6 years ago in 2008. Just out of curiosity, who did the Phils play in the World Series in 2008? How about those guys right there? Yeah, the Tampa Bay Rays. And those Tampa Bay Rays fans out there, well, they might be feeling exactly the same way we do right here in Philadelphia. All you got to do is simply look at the standings for evidence, as right now the Rays currently are 38-49 and in the basement of the AL East, 9.5 games out.
Oh, no!
Yeah, they are. But you have to go to the next level stats to get really what is a little bit of a different kind of a story. The Rays right now might be the fourth worst team in all of Major League Baseball, despite obviously, though, having what appears to be a pretty good pitching staff that set a record the other day for the month of June with 287 Ks, 287 strikeouts. Yes, that is a Major League record, never been done before by one particular team. Right now, the Rays have 744 Ks in 85 games. They are averaging 8.75 strikeouts per game. And you know, I've always been told that it's defense that wins games. I guess not in 2014, huh?
Well, you know, it's funny. Do you know who they edged out? Whose record they beat?
No, go ahead.
The Chicago Cubs, who had 286.
That's correct. Yeah, that's
and
right.
You know what the
in 2002, right? Yeah.
Do you know what the similarity is between the two teams?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
No World Series wins. So
The Rays
have your record.
Rays are actually
Nobody's perfect.
Have your record, but still no World Series wins.
It's just an interesting dichotomy when you think about it.
Perhaps you think you're being treated
Because
unfairly.
you hear so much about the fact that defense wins games in baseball, but I don't know. Maybe that's not the case. We had a conversation right here on this show a couple of weeks ago when Steve Ballmer purchased the Los Angeles Clippers for $2 billion, an amount 4 times in excess of the actual value of the team. And I asked the question then whether this would have an artificially inflated value on all other teams. And I may just very well have my answer this week as I'm trying to flip my page. Here it goes. Okay.
The Dayton Dragons.
It was announced this week that the Dayton Dragons of Ohio, now mind you, they are a single A affiliate team of the Cincinnati Reds, were sold to the Palisades Arcadia Baseball Company for $40 million. It's a single A team. Single A team averages...
That's more than some major league teams
You're not
have
kidding.
sold.
Not to mention, when you take a look at the infrastructure of this particular team, all right, they average just over 8,000 fans a game. Well, that's about all their stadium actually holds, which they have a brand new stadium.
Well, but
the Dayton Dragons are actually a fairly new team.
But they've got some record about the number of sellouts over the past number of years.
I hope it continues. I mean, well, you know, it's an affiliate to the Cincinnati Reds. The last time I checked, they haven't done much. But
That's why everybody's going out to see the Dragons.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, in Dayton, Ohio, of all places, probably one of the most depressed areas in all of the entire country economically. For my Dayton friends out there, listen, I lived in Dayton when I was a youngster. I don't mean that in a negative way.
Sure.
Yeah, listen.
Hit the road!
As Sidekick just pointed out, yeah, thank you very much. As Sidekick just pointed out, keep this in perspective. The Phils themselves sold their team. In 1980, they sold for $30 million. The Minnesota Twins sold their team in 1984, $44 million. $40 million for a single A team. Wouldn't mind going and seeing this. It looks like it's a brand new stadium, by the way. All right, let's go take a look at the quick look at the AL and NL standings. I'm going to be mentioning, road trip possibilities. Dayton's not that far. I'm going to bring up one in a moment.
Especially when I'm driving.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to bring up one in a moment. All right, let's take a look at the American League. Right now, the Blue Jays right now sit atop the East by just one game over the Orioles. Come on, O's, let's get it together, huh? Knock these guys out of there. Really, they're frauds. The Detroit Tigers stay ahead of the Royals by 4.5 games, and the A's are 3.5 in front of the Angels over in the National League. The Braves, we go back and forth every week. A half game in front of the Nationals. The Brewers right now 5.5 in front of the Cardinals, and the Giants. Well, this might be the big story right now of Major League Baseball. They continue to free fall. They are now only a half game in front of the Dodgers. The Dodgers have been on fire in the past 2 weeks. Insane. All right. Before we get out of here from baseball, let's go take a look at our Frat House Sports Facebook post of the weekend. This is where I'm going to talk road trip again. Minor League Baseball, speaking of minor league baseball, and affiliates, nonetheless, of, how about that, the Cincinnati Reds? Yeah, we were just bringing up their single A. How about their double A team? I posted up an article that cited the top minor league stadiums to catch a game, and I offered my opinion that the Pensacola Bayfront Stadium, right there, you can see it, beautiful, you got the water out here, home of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos.
And there's your next lawsuit.
Yeah, really, okay, thank you very much. This looked to me like this is a must. This is a must. See, we got to go see the stadium. Look at this. This is beautiful.
I don't know. Wahoo sounds offensive on its.
I don't care about the name of the stadium. How about just looking at that venue? Isn't that beautiful?
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Yeah. Well, listen. That post got. Believe it or not, there must be a lot of people that want to go down and see the Wahoos because that post got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views.
Get your merchandise before they get sued.
Yeah, really. But get over to Frat House Sports over on Facebook. Give us a like, and yeah, you can jump in and give us comments on that. There were some comments on it. All right, there's our Major League Baseball segment for this week, and again, many thanks to Jim and Carl over at CLW83. Get over there and check out all of their programming. All right, from there we're going to roll right into our weekly race report, our NASCAR report. How about that? And that's brought to you by our... and make sure you check out their programming as well. They had us on Tuesday night, 3 straight hours, marathon programming, our most recent from last week, and then others that were a little bit older, and 3 straight hours over on Herb FM, herbfm.com. Get over there and check out all of their programming over there. And I have a feeling that's what they're probably going to be doing for the summertime, is just bulking them up and throwing us on Tuesday evenings, and that's fine. But if you're not sure, well, what you got to do, you got to go to our Facebook page, because I always keep you up to date right there.
Yeah, because apparently we're like Aaron Hernandez over there. We're just killing it.
Exactly. Or Manny Ramirez, somebody that just keeps coming back. How about that one?
Yeah,
well, you like that in that? Yeah, okay.
Here comes the Manny Watch.
I'm never going to do the Manny Watch on the show again. We're only going to do it now exclusively over on Facebook. Another reason to go over and check out our Facebook page. All right, let's get over and talk. No, let's talk auto racing.
That is unless he does something stupid.
Which he will, trust me. Why are we doing
It
this?
is manic.
We're talking NASCAR now. A couple weeks in a row now, we've got some nighttime racing. Last Saturday, we were down at Kentucky. Still new, as you pointed out on the show last week, still new to Sprint Cup racing. This was the 4th race down at the Kentucky Speedway, where we saw average speeds of 140 miles an hour. I'm sure you saw it. I got to be honest, and I'm going to be honest. I always am. A bit of a snooze fest, in my opinion, on this one. Brad Keselowski, starting from the pole, led 199 of the 267 laps. Not surprisingly, took the checkered for his 2nd win of the season. And again, honestly, I even during the race posted up a comment on my personal Facebook page, not on the Frat House one, but on my own personal one, saying, you don't want to know something, folks? I'm frankly getting bored of the 1-2 of Keselowski and Logano Penske Racing this particular season. I'm tired of it.
I had to go.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. But we'll get to your comments in a moment. But there you go. Keselowski took his 2nd of the season. Others who came in the top 5 included Kyle Busch. He led 31 laps, 3rd in laps led, and started 18th. Came in 2nd. Ryan Newman came in 3rd. Matt Kenseth came in 4th. Dale Jr. came in 5th. That's his 9th top 5 of the season. I believe that leads all right now in top 5s is Junior. The sidebar stories. At times you got to feel bad for this guy right here, Denny Hamlin. It just seems this guy's been snake bit going back to last season. Past weekend, not much different. Right front goes down and bam, that just took him straight into the wall in the 27th lap. I guess if you're going to do it early, and that's apparently exactly what he did.
Looks like he got his bell rung yet again.
Yeah, he got out of that car apparently a little bit slow. You saw that too. The net's dropping down. He was backing out of that. So hopefully Denny's okay. The other sidebar, you got to think that this guy right here, this kid, Kyle Larson, driving that 42. You got to think that he is the hands-on favorite this year for Rookie of the Year. In a season where we started out the season way back in February, talking about how rich this entire season is with rookies. This kid has just been incredible, but not this past weekend. Identical situation, unfortunately, as what we just saw with Denny Hamlin in lap 75. Right front goes down and bam, into the wall he goes. That ended Kyle Larson's night with a DNF.
Just a side note on your rookie battle there, him and Austin Dillon are 1 and 2. Actually,
right there.
Austin
Do you know
Dillon's
what the
actually
difference?
number 1.
What's the difference? Do you have any idea on what the
Austin Dillon has been more consistent. He went through the first 10 races without even missing, completed every lap. He's had more consistent finishes where
the DNFs are Hill.
The DNFs have him back. Yeah. And the way the rookie thing works, it goes by highest finishing rookie. And if these two are constantly finishing 1-2, it's really going to be hard for catching up unless Austin Dillon needs to have a few DNFs for Kyle to get back into it.
But eyeballing it, if you're using the eye test, as we say in some of the other
as the eye test, yeah, Kyle Larson's performing better, but Austin Dillon's not been bad as a rookie. Mm-hmm. He's not wrecked a lot of equipment. He's been hovering around that lead lap.
The thing is, Austin Dillon's been more consistent.
He's been more consistent,
as we've talked about.
But he's consistent. He's consistent in the 15 to 10 area where Kyle Larson's been, in the top 5, and he's knocking on the door. He could win one.
He could.
I don't think Austin Dillon, short of maybe a restrictor plate track like this weekend, would have much of a chance at winning yet. He's getting close. But he needs to get more top 10s in the top 5.
Kyle Larson wins one. That puts him in the
I'm not sure how that works, though.
Rookie, right?
No, because they really don't judge it. The rookie battle's kind of just more of the top finishing rookie every week. It doesn't really matter where.
Well, but it depends on how, now with the new setup, if he were to get a win, that puts him into the chase.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now that kind of makes him.
I don't know how that would make that work, though.
Public relations-wise, NASCAR would be hearing a lot of negativity if it ended that way and he didn't get ROI.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think as a rookie, if you make the chase, that should you that
probably should. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you've got another rookie. You know, now if the two of them made it in there.
You know, I think
if it ended today, he would be in the chase. He's one of the 5 or 6 that get in on points.
Yeah.
The interesting thing that you bring up, though, about the Austin Dillon issue is that I think that a lot of us who follow NASCAR every single week, we have forgotten about Austin Dillon only because of the fact that he doesn't get quite the play. He doesn't get the talk, the chatter.
And what would add,
the consistency thing.
And how we've talked about the chase has kind of gotten boring the past couple years.
Not this year.
I think a great sidebar story would be if we got 2 rookies into the chase.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Then
And there's more than a capability for it with 16 spots.
Right. You know, because then not only do you have, the champion, but now you got 2 rookies battling each other to try and
You're
take
absolutely
rookies
right.
here.
And when you consider that in years past it was 10 plus 2 wild cards, and now we've actually expanded it to 16. A fabulous opportunity for this year being a potential year for that kind of thing to happen.
Actually, Austin Dillon's only 2 positions out of being in the chase too, so you're really close to having 2 rookies in it right now.
And we got plenty of racing left to go. You still got
Yep.
9 races left.
Yep, and all one of them guys needs to do is get a win.
Well, it's interesting. We're talking leaderboard. Let's take a look at it real quick. There's our leaderboard for at least the top 5.
Yep.
And you were pointing out, and I pointed out too as well. Interestingly enough, take a look at Jimmy Johnson and Junior right there in the
Tied
point
in
standing. Tied. Okay. Again, though, take a look at that top 5. There's that 9 top 5s.
But look at Brad
Yes, exactly.
at 8.
8 top 5s. All right.
And then you got Joey at 6, tied with Jimmy.
And Jeff Gordon still leads at the top
The
in points if you go strictly to points. All right. So
but he
there's
does have a
the
win,
leaderboard.
so he has a win, so he's pretty well off.
Oh yeah, he's right. He's made
I
the choice.
think the top 11 have wins. So there's
Right.
like 5 guys who are getting in on points right now,
Yeah.
and we're getting down to it soon where you're going to only have, if we keep having these repeat winners, you may not have 16 guys have the win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not going to. I don't think. In fact, I'm prepared right now tonight to sit here and say I don't think you're going to. The points are going to come into play
Well, we
on this
still
year's chase.
have 2 months. We still have
I
July and
understand.
August and the beginning of September. for
I'm just saying
Richmond,
I'm
so
making an early prediction right now before July 4. Points are going to come to play. All right.
probably for the last 2 or 3. You'll get a couple more. Kendrick
This
will
week,
win around.
we're heading out. Second visit of the season to Daytona International Speedway for the Coke 0400. Saturday night at 7:30 Eastern Time on Terrible NASCAR Television, TNT. Good news is we only have one more of these after this week. TNT will be done forever after next week's race.
Yep.
But there it is. But we need our picks for this week. I don't know if you noticed, but Sidekick spoilers and Frat House Mike's or whatever my name is, flyers, we were identical throughout the entire race. You know why? Because I played your exact team exactly as you presented it last week. And you'll see in a moment, folks, I'm not on the board.
So are you blaming my picks?
The next time, I'm asking you.
All right,
please
so
give
here we
us
go.
your picks
What we got here
so I can determine
is
what
a
I can
failure to
ignore.
communicate.
Here we go.
So
Jimmy Johnson, $28. Boom confetti.
all right.
Look for Hendrick domination at Daytona this
Go ahead,
weekend. Dale Jr., $27.50. 3-time Daytona winner, Mr. Restrictor Plate. Won the 500 back in February. Brad Keselowski, $27. 2-time Dega winner.
Okay.
And then we're going to fill it out with Landon Castle for $7.50.
Castle.
And Lucky Dog back in Reed Sorensen,
Uh-oh.
$7.
Sorensen
Takes the roster to $96.75.
Totally ignoring that Michael Waltrip for $12 there. Got to be the best value out there. Last 2 restrictor plays, he's finished in the top 10 and he's $12.
Did he finish there in February?
Maybe not February,
I don't
but
think
the
so.
last 2 races, if you go back to this race last year and the Fall Talladega, he was in the top 10 in both of them.
I had him on my February team, and I was actually disappointed.
I think he had a mechanical.
Yeah, he may.
But when he has
Yeah,
the
but
car
he's
that
12
finishes for $12, you can't ignore Michael Waltrip.
He may have been a DNF in that one.
I don't know.
Oh, that's it.
Landon Castle has done really well.
You have to ask
For
me
$12,
nicely.
man, Michael Waltrip pops in a top 10, you're golden.
All right, let's take a look at the Frat House Sports Fantasy League
Yep.
standings. And as I pointed out, yes, I am off the board again momentarily. I will be back on this week because I have ignored everything.
Yeah,
that,
but didn't Bill-
Sidekick mentioned. Go ahead.
Bill ran really well last
He
week.
did. He came in
So
first.
you
I
can't-
believe. Was he first last week?
No,
Or
that would
second?
be me.
No, he won. But
I
he
think
came-
Bill
he-
was,
that
I
would
think
be
he was
me.
third.
Yeah,
I think
he-
Bill was
okay.
third. My father was third.
Yeah, he led a lot though. He was up the top a couple times when I looked at it.
I would venture a guess that he's going to have a good team this week. He's good with the restrictor plates too. He knows
Exactly.
who
Well, and
runs
there's
good.
less than 40
So-
points right now that separate you
and
from
I
the top.
I was going to say, not one team, Greg, 2 teams knocking on that door, buddy. I'm coming.
Yeah, you're less than 40 points behind the number one there.
So
Getting
Go ahead.
close right here at the Frat House.
Make
How do you
my
like that?
day.
All right, there's our race report. We only got 9 races left, and that's how tight it is. All right, it's going to get interesting.
that's what she said.
Okay, I knew that was coming. All right, there's
They
our
make
race
lube for
report.
that.
Brought to you by our good friends, Chris and company down at Herb FM, Sports Radio, herbfm.com. That's where you can find them on the internet, herbfm.com. And you definitely want to find them on Tuesday nights to hear marathon shows of Frat House Sports.
Yep. Apparently we translate really well in the radio.
That's what I've heard. Yes, I've heard that. And you know, we might be doing more and more of that in the future. Oops. Teaser. All right, there you go. There's our show.
Anniversary's coming up.
There's you always
You
know
never
we
know.
got. We always
Never know what we're flipping.
We got stuff. We got stuff.
We're always
planned
flipping
around
stuff
the
around the
anniversary
anniversary.
time. But we gotta
We gotta keep it
we
fresh.
got a round table show to do before then, and all kinds of other stuff. We got some time yet. All right, there you go. FratHouseSports.net. There you go. There's our website. Check that out. You can find all of our shows over there. And listen, I want to wish everybody a very, very happy Birthday to America Day. Tomorrow, July 4th. Yes, enjoy yourself. It's a long weekend for all of us.
Lots of grilling.
Lots of grilling, 3-day weekend. Be safe, have a good time, enjoy it. And from all of us here, one more thing I need you to do over this 3-day weekend for us all. You know what it is. You got to keep us real. You got to keep us live. You got to keep us going. We'll see you next week.
And don't blow off any fingers.
All right, let me fix my tie. Hey, I don't get no respect. All right, here we go.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Yes, I need another beer. Hear me.
Hey, Doc, how come you're so cantankerous
Can you nipple
today?
on that?
We're going. Shut your mouth. We're going to the top stories. The first top story will be. Okay, and I'm not sure if it's a story, and I'm going to ask that.
Where's my paper?
Yeah. Okay. So we got one.
Go ahead.
Okay. We got one. We got two, which is a generic, and then we got three, and that's it. We got three for the
And he
first
shot
three.
it. And he shot it in his ass like this.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Alrighty.
That's right where you wanted to go, Mike.
Yep. There's our outtake. No, never mind.